Women.
I'm sorry, I just had to do that. Anyway, welcome to the show. When we talk about liberation heroes, we talk about the likes of Nelson Mandela, we talk about the likes of Pisani, we talk about the likes of Steve Biko, but we hardly ever talk about the women who were part of the liberation struggle. Your Lillian Goni, your Mamuni Madiza Mandela, and your Root First. Today, we're going to talk about the events that led up to and the events of August 9th, 1956, which was a day which basically cemented what Women's Day means and what the women in our lives represent. When they decided when 20,000 women decided to march to the Union buildings to fight against apartheid and fight for their rights of movement.
Dominic Berger, you believe in apartheid as a way of life.
Yes, I do.
Why?
In South Africa.
Why is that, sir?
Because the race, which is in a lesser state of development, is by far in the majority here. And numerically, of course, they are much stronger. And because also I believe that it is according to God's will that the white race, which is in the majority in this country, should be preserved, and also everything we have done in the last 300 years and built up in the church and in the state should be preserved and not be swallowed up by an, I wouldn't say inferior race, because I don't believe it is an inferior race, but a lesser a race which is in a lesser state of development, that's all.
Now, to impose such a system on the African women is to create hardships. Firstly, African women will have to produce these passes on demand. If they fail to do so, they will be arrested in the streets, they will be stopped at stations, they will be stopped as they visit one another in the locations, and if they haven't got those passes, they will be immediately arrested and brought before the court. Now, African men who value their women just as any other people value their women, say what will happen to their children.
Yes, it does. I think that we are very privileged women in that we are not tied to the kitchen sink as so many women are in other parts of the world. And I think that is all the more reason why women should play their full part in the duties of an individual in a democracy. We feel that democracy cannot work unless every individual knows what her obligations are in a democracy.
But I think you're putting the standard of morals very low if you reckon that we are going to go on supporting apartheid just in order to keep our servants.
One
Our servants.
One final question. Being very realistic, how soon can you hope to take off that black sash?
Well, I'm afraid not in our lifetime. Mourning a constitution. They think we would be much better staying at home and looking after our children.
And obviously you both disagree.
Well, we think that we do look after our children.
We feel very much that this is looking after our children, because after all, it's the future of our children we're worried about. If I had no children, I don't think my interest would be nearly as keen.